Are we live?
We just turned live when you said that.
It's just so hit or miss with StreamYard as to when we live. But anyway, I'm Brent Leary,
I'm Paul Greenberg.
and now it says we're live. So we must be double positive live here. And we are the CRM Playaz.
Okay.
It
Good to know.
is. It's good to know because, we've been bringing the ass. Yeah, make sure you get that in there. Since 2009, and we're like on the cusp of a whole new year.
I just got this this gift of peppermint bark from
Peppermint
Ray,
bark.
it's like if you ever seen it, you open it up, it would be like, you ever see butter toffee with chocolate? It's like just pieces. That's what peppermint bark kind of is. It's a peppermint version of it with either just straight peppermint or
Sounds
chocolate.
a little bit too crunchy for me.
Yeah, I just got it from Ray and Tina, his wife, and his two kids, although it was interestingly mailed by Martin Schneider. But as said, reason I bring it up is you said coming on a whole new year, and he said we're entering a whole new era of tech, something or another.
I just was saying year, not era.
He went into era.
Yeah,
He's got us in a new era of tech.
that might be an era.
By the way, thank you, Ray. I just want to thank you, Tina, Stephanie, and Nathan. Thank you very much. But it just triggered the fact that Ray's got us into a whole new era of tech. And to be honest, I'm very curious as to what that will be. I assume he's talking about what we're probably going to be talking about today.
Well, before we talk about anything, it's now time for our moment of Sven.
Sven. Wow. This one's Romanian? Maybe. No, this one's tricky. I was going Romanian on the two word Trinucci and Nistanu, but I'm now thinking it's not.
Nosferatu in there.
I wanted to say it's also one of those things where borderline Turkish, but it's not. I don't think it's that easy. This one's tough, baby. You know what? This is just a random guess, though. This one he's got me on. I'm going to say either Czech or Hungarian.
I was going to say Romanian because I think I see Nosferatu there.
So. Well, that's why that's kind of the U parts, the part that makes you think Romanian, and I thought that too, but the rest of it doesn't read Romanian, I don't think. I mean, I like, you know what? What the hell? I don't know. This is Czech, Romanian, or Hungarian. I'll say all three of them. I'll keep the Romanian.
Well, while you're figuring it out, I think he just put an answer up. Let's say hello to Sam, who was very active last week on the show.
How you doing, buddy?
Oh, wait a minute. Is he translating or something? Sometimes moments disappear, but maybe they come back sometimes. That's what he actually, I think he did translate that.
He did it. Yeah, but
he used the translation, but we don't know what it is. But Sven says Croatian.
Whoa. Okay. Well, we're in the right ballpark, but not the right country. And
do we know any Croats?
Yeah, we do. Silvana.
Oh,
she's born in Croatia.
She's born in Croatia and lives in Spain,
and speaks very fluent German.
Man, we know some smart folks.
Oh, Silvana's just off the charts, brilliant.
That's the translation. I get an option.
Thank you, sir. We're gonna have you on the show, Sam. You know that, right? Definitely happy.
Yeah, we're gonna do a virtual cage match between you and Thomas Webernight and see how that goes. That will be very good.
Plan on it.
My part, Sam.
That's right. That's right, Sam. You can't interfere.
Oh, wait. Sam is starting to hone in on the moment of Sven. Well, Sven has been absent quite a bit lately.
Yeah, but you know what? It's one of those things like if Mickey Mantle's down for injury or you can't find Mickey Mantle because he's out on a bender or something, he comes back to the stadium, he's still Mickey Mantle, right? And it's the same with Sven. You know what I mean? Yeah, no.
We need him to be here a little bit more, I think.
Well, that's because we miss him.
Well, yeah. Is that still a country?
Whoa, Sam, we're getting sort of weirdly geopolitical here.
All right.
Not
Sam?
really. I mean, it's weird just because of the question.
Well, I
So,
think Sam is based in Canada.
no, I think he is too, but it was the whole is Croatia still is.
Oh, I'm leaving out all that stuff
The
alone.
answer is yes, it is. Not only that, very popular destination for travelers, like the seacoast or the ocean view.
Well, while that's all going on, we do have one of our favorite guests coming with us a little later today. And you need a really good follow-up guest to last week, because last week was pretty awesome when you think about it.
It was killer.
Um,
Very busy.
yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that. I want to just do a quick housekeeping thing.
Yeah, you got it right this time.
Tomorrow, I am going to be spending a few good minutes with the one and only Ron Miller. Now, the last time I did a few good minutes with Ron, he was still the enterprise tech reporter for TechCrunch. But not anymore. Now, Ron, and he was there for like 10 years, by the way. Now, Ron, and it finally came live. You know how hard I had to keep from saying this? I've known this for like a couple of months, I think. But Ron, a couple of months ago, left TechCrunch, and he has been in stealth mode. I don't know why I did this, like that. Something to do with
Doesn't
stealth
look all
mode.
that stealthy.
It didn't really look stupid. Yeah, stupid mode. No, that's me. Stealth mode at Bold Start Ventures. He's now, they came out with the announcement. He's the editorial director at Bold Start Ventures. Now, I also did a few good minutes show a few months back with the founder of Bold Start, Ed. What is Ed's last name? I hate when
no idea.
Easy Ed. It was a really good conversation too. So tomorrow we're going to talk about why Mr. Miller left TechCrunch and went to Bold Start and what he's doing at Bold Start, because he's kind of launching. Well, no, he is not kind of. He's launching a new newsletter and some other things, content focused around what he's doing. And he's still going to be keeping an eye on the enterprise application industry. So I'm going to talk to him about that and a whole bunch. And he's still, like, he was at the reInvent last week too. So we're going to get his take on what happened, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I don't know, whatever. We're going to find out from him what he thought about reInvent and what Amazon is up to, because he's still got those reporter instincts. Those
reportorial instincts.
He's got a repertoire. Is that what that meant?
Reportorial instinct.
Now, I want to give the stage to the venerable Paul Greenberg, because we do have some interesting updates, I would say, on the upcoming IRL. But before I do that, I'm going to see if I can do this. Good bass work, by the way.
Really good.
All right, that was the sizzle reel, or the highlight reel for IRL 2025.
No, that was the teaser.
Oh, that's what they call it, the teaser.
We don't have highlights yet.
Has anybody been teased yet?
We have no highlights. We haven't done it.
We're full of highlights.
Well, that's mostly on the hair, right? As your hair turns white, right? So before I get into some of the updates, Sam Gupta, if you're interested in attending that conference, it's invitation only. Email me at paul-greenberg3@the56group.com, and we'll put you on the list and send you the invite. Do it fast, because we're going to close that fairly soon. So again, if you're interested,
Seating is limited.
that's yeah, that's a good way to put it. Good way to put it. Good way to put it. So we this is it's coming together, and we have a classy group of sponsors at the
A
event.
classy group of sponsors.
Yeah,
I like that.
we have Salesforce, we have Oracle, we have user testing, we have Pega Systems, we have Zoho, we have um, Zoom is our new sponsor, newest sponsor. I think that covered it, right?
Yeah, matter of fact, I'm going to try to do something here. Well, keep on talking.
Okay.
And
All right. So that's spot, but we also are starting the conference itself is starting to shape up. And this is a good idea. That is a landing page. Note the URL up at the top there, IRL 2025. And yeah, why don't you kind of
what do you want me to scroll
that
down?
slow scroll is kind of, is that supposed to be like cinematic?
No, I'm just doing that.
Doing a slow scroll, like put
Yeah.
everything into slow motion.
As you talk, I'll just
All right,
scroll.
so we have a really good lineup, and maybe Brent, can you roll down to the lineup a little fast?
Well, you want to go to speakers?
Well, yeah, let's go. Given the order, these are some of the speakers, not all of the speakers. And actually, we're going to have to update something. Charlie Shin is now the VP of engagement for the Colts. He's
he needs to
been
update his
given-
LinkedIn.
Yeah, he hasn't done that yet. He and I talked about it. He actually has gotten the job where he's in charge of all fan engagement.
Nice.
And this is an incredible group. We have investors there. We're going to talk about what investing looks like in the world that we now live in, in the world we're going to be living in. We have sports panel on the business of sports and how it's impacting things. Anand Thakur and I are going to be speaking on the PC and video gaming world and not only the engagement model, but also the business model that it represents as probably the most advanced and mature model in our century at this point, and that's saying a lot. We have people like, as you can see, Rebecca Wetterman, who's one of the leading industry analysts. I mean, this is a really amazing group of people who are all coming. Stephanie Boyer, who's pretty much, she is a professor at Bryant University of sales, and she has pretty much won, she wins like an award every week. I've spent my entire year congratulating her on things. I mean, she's amazing.
Does that mean we're gonna have to figure something out to give her when she's here?
Well, might as well, but chances are she'll win one while she's speaking, right? So she wins women professor, professor in general, sales, education. I mean, you name it, she wins it, right? And she deserves every bit of those awards because she's an astounding educator who genuinely cares about kids. We also are going to be testing things. We've got a panel. We've got panels where we're going to have analysts and hopefully you guys, if you're in the audience, who are going to join them for a great debate, 3 debate questions, right? Where one at a time, 3 different sessions, two analysts, and then it'll be an empty chair. I'll be calling for a volunteer from the audience, and one of you guys come on up, sit down, and let's go at it. Brian Solis, our keynote, right? He's going to be talking about his new book, Mind Shift.
Wait a minute. Can I ask this? What is that the name of his keynote, Playaz Biggest Player?
I didn't even, that was Chanel, but that not me. Not me. That's, by the way, that keynote name is new to us. We've never seen it, but you know what? We'll let it roll, man.
Yeah.
Look, you can see, look at this live streaming, why and how, right? And we're gonna, in 20 minutes, we're gonna show you basically why you should be as a business and how to do it. That's very ambitious. Some of our sponsors will bring, it looks like not only their executives, but possibly also a customer up on stage with them. And we're going to do these rapid fire kind of back and forth with them. We've got 2 mini panels on investment that I mentioned earlier. I'd say the one on transmedia is still a TBD at the moment, just because we're not sure how that's shaping up. But everything else is pretty much covered here. Okay. And then finally, we're going to be closing with the the CRM Watchlist Grand Finale Awards, right? This is the GFAs, and this is it, right? This is the end of the CRM Watchlist for real, or as for reals, right?
It's the end.
It
Is
is,
it?
well, it is. It is the grand finale for a reason. And the winners, we already know who they are. Okay, 27 analysts came together. They voted. They had an unlimited list in 21 categories of who they wanted to vote for, their entire history. And we narrowed it down to 3 finalists, all of whom will be announced at the event, and the winner, all of whom will be announced at the event. And the night before, on the 21st, we have a party, a get together. There'll be wine, there'll be beer, there'll be food, there'll be soft drinks,
There'll be donuts.
non-alcohol beverages, and there will be a bourbon and donuts tasting, and the bourbon will be top shelf. Donuts, I don't know yet. I haven't tasted them, right? But I'm going to be working on that.
You should get a dozen.
Well, I actually probably am going to try to figure out how to get a dozen.
Yeah, I was going to say, just ship a dozen up there.
Yeah, and now if you can't make it and you'd like to attend it, well, don't forget. Not only are we considered kind of, let's say, very thoughtful people in the industry, but we are a media company too. So this event, with the help of, what's Jeff's company? Jeff Bond's company.
I have no idea.
Okay, well, with the help of a company led by Jeff Bond from Atlanta.
You know who his brother is, right?
James. Or I doubt, and they also have a side business of Bond foot powder, right? So that goes back to 1840. So if you can't, we're going to be streaming everything, and that means main stage, where all those things you just saw, and community room, where starting at noon, we're going to. No, Sven, don't use up your good capital here. And community room, where we're going to be starting at noon. 3, 4, 5 of our shows will actually be streaming live from there. I mean, and there'll be an opportunity for you to do a virtual, even you, if you're a virtual participant, will be able to do your own watch party about some of the main stage stuff. We've got it all going, and we're going to be using Zoom events and Zoom Studio to make this happen.
Yeah, I'm going back up to the sponsors because once again, this is our first ever live event, the players and
as I like to say about it, the last one.
And we are extremely fortunate to have not only their sponsors, but they're really partners. In all instances, there are people there that are our friends. Mm-hmm. And so we are trying, like Paul said, we're experimenting with stuff. This is not meant to be a traditional like an analyst event, and this is definitely not meant to be a marketing like lead gen event. And so given all the things, we almost were like, when we were asking our some folks to help us with this, we were almost saying, basically, we don't know why you'd want to do this, because it's not a lead gen event. There'll be no metrics in terms of how many, like, how much big business you're going to get out of this. We were just saying, no, this is a thought leadership conference that also is kind of a little bit of a celebration of us being able to do what we've done with CRM Playaz for 15 years. I guess we can go and put ourselves back on the screen here.
Yeah.
And so we just thank these folks, all of them, for helping us be able to put this together and to do it in a sense that is much more aligned with what we do as the players, as to what you figure out a traditional industry conference is going to be about. So just wanted to say that.
And the last thing, honestly, probably will be a truly extraordinary networking event. Keep in mind one thing: in our universe, there is a community, right? And some of those friends that Brent were talking about, they're part of the community. You guys, if you're listening in, part of the community. We have our happy hours, part of the community, right? And I'm not saying just CRM Playaz community. It's more of a CRM customer experience. The people in that world are a community. And a lot of those people from very disparate areas will be coming to this event. Well, a lot. I mean, it's not like a lot by vendor conference standards, but it's in fact it's a failure by vendor conference standards. But it's by our standard, it's the people who will be coming will have this great opportunity to meet each other and network. And look, never know what comes out of these things, but all we want people to come out of it with is some additional knowledge and recognize they just really had a good time and met some really great people and hopefully some friendships. And if you want, if you guys want to turn them into lasting business relationships, feel free. We have nothing to say about that and have nothing that we want to even encourage about it. You just do it if you want to do it.
Matter of fact, we just want to discourage as many people as possible.
Yeah, if you guys don't want to come, that'd be okay too.
No, but it's all seriousness. We are kind of doing the things the CRM Playaz way, which is, well, what do you think about trying this? Why not? Well, so there's a lot of unscripted.
Let me here's the perfect description of the CRM Playaz way. I'm going to do it right now. You know how we have our guest today? You know how I found out? I saw Brent's announcement. That's how I found out who our guest was. And you know what? Fine with me. It's like, that's how we do it.
You know what? You know why that kind of happened like that? Because I think it was last month. Actually, this email chain probably goes back to a couple of months between me and Elena Ryan, which is one of our big buddies over at Pega. And she was talking about, hey, we're really starting to talk a lot more about the agentic AI. And how would you be interested in having Don Schuerman on to talk about student? All you have to say is Don.
Right. Yeah.
We're interested.
You're right. You're Pega and you say the name Don. That's yes.
Yeah. It's not even Don Schuerman. It's just Don Schuer.
Yeah, again, Pega, just Don. We know who it is.
We're just going to call him Don Schuer from this point on, because anything that they throw out and says, would you like Don? Sure.
Yeah, of course.
There it is.
I mean, that's it. Don Schuer. Right. This is now new name. Right. Don Schuerman. Right.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. There it is.
We did it.
We have stuck. We've given nicknames to about 80% of the folks that have ever been on our show, and that is the best one for Don. Sure, man. That is awesome.
Don, sure, man.
But you know what? Before we can bring him on,
I know. I was thinking I could get away with this, but
not at all.
No, I can't.
And now it's time for Stump the Godfather.
Gosh, I did
the
not
venerable Paul Greenberg. Brought to you by Microsoft Dynamics 365 Copilot.
We haven't done it in a while, so
that's
we
what I mean.
Get into it, man.
Did not miss this,
and we got to do a kind of a quick one too, because we can't leave Schuerman waiting. So
that's right.
Brought to you by Microsoft Dynamics 365 Copilot. Although we're probably gonna have to update that.
Yeah,
I think they did anyway. Anyway, one of their big partners is Adobe, and they recently had their earnings call. So as I like to do, I like to dig through the transcripts, see if there's any interesting nuggets in there to pull out. By the way, digging in the scripts will be coming in 2025. I've been saying that for a year.
In 2025, that is a big one. That's one of the big ones.
So
show we'll talk about later.
This question, this Stump the Godfather question, comes from that. Adobe Firefly has crossed how many cumulative content generations?
What the hell does that even mean?
You know how Firefly people use sort of like
like
they generate it.
Has it been used to generate content?
That's exactly how they
put it. Stupid way to put that.
That's how it's put. Adobe Firefly generations cross X number cumulative generations as of their last earnings call, which was yesterday.
And it's been around about a year now, right?
Yeah, it hasn't been around a whole. It's actually might have been a little longer than that.
Yeah, you're right. I think you are right. Maybe a year and a half, something like that.
Something like that.
All right, I got to guess. Anyone else have one? Oh, there he is.
Real time
traffic. Oh, Ryan, another one of the greats, by the way. That man, Ryan Zuck.
I am in agreement.
You're in danger of me not talking to you ever again. So. Be careful.
Are we?
No, we are not. Sven, I don't care. That doesn't happen in the world of Jewish people. Okay. We don't do that. We don't. They have blueberry bagels for all of you guys who aren't, because you think that's good, right? But Landsman, we don't do it.
Okay. All right. So anybody who wants to step up and take a guess as to how many cumulative generations the milestone that Adobe Firefly just crossed.
Oh, you said it was a milestone, so that means it's an even number.
It's a milestone. Yeah, they're not going to say we crossed 1,562,000 or something like that.
Sure, if they said that, then it's not much of a milestone.
It's a pretty significant milestone.
I've got it down.
Let's not talk about the earnings. I know.
Yeah.
Last I saw, they were down about 70 points. I don't know.
This is the guy who ran Adobe's retail business too, so that's a meaningful statement coming from me.
I'm gonna say, Sven, you and Paul are gonna have to take this conversation offline. This whole blueberry thing. But anyway, come on, Michael. Let's talk about a positive number for Adobe.
All right, Sven, if you get an accurate number, I'll let the blueberry.
Oh wow! Ooh.
I'll let it go.
They could potentially be looking that up.
So I don't care how he gets it. I'm giving him a big leeway here.
And if our guest wants to take a guess, and put it in the private chat, and we'll pop it up there. Anyway, we're not going to let this go long because we do want to get to our friends. So, quick guesses, folks. I'll give you a hint. It's in the billions.
Yeah, I figured that part.
Yeah, I don't want to give too good of a clue.
I had a number in the billions that I'm guessing, and it's a big round number because it's a milestone.
Big round number. Okay.
Well, round meaning it's got a zero in the number, other than billion.
It's not one of those like Gartner numbers, 50.23%.
Exactly. None of those.
Oh, Sven is going with 11.99.
No, that's a good enough answer, Sven.
Michael Klein is going with 5 billion. All right, so we got 11.99 and we've got 5. I don't know if anybody get your guess in now before we ask the venerable Paul Greenberg to guess. No Patrick. No Rebecca or Patrick today. So
oh no.
All right, let's go. Let's get this going.
I'm going. I see. I was going with 10 billion. That was my number.
So are you sticking to 10 billion?
Yeah, I'll stick with it.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
All right.
And door number 3.
The answer is 16 billion. So Sven is actually the closest one.
All right, Sven, you didn't get exactly, but since you kind of win, I'm forgiving your blueberry bagel comments.
Does that mean that he can?
I will know. That doesn't mean I'll eat it with you in Atlanta. That's not happening. I'll eat blueberries with you. I'll eat a blueberry muffin with you. I just never will eat a blueberry bagel with.
What the hell is it? I just don't understand. What's the difference between a muffin and a bagel at that point?
Oh, Brent.
I'm sorry.
I taught you nothing.
I'm sorry. I'm not a lensman. Is that how you say it? A lensman?
No, Landsman, like
Landsman either.
Like Dean Landsman. That really means the same thing. It's pronounced exactly the same way. Well, he's pronounced more Landsman. It's Landsman.
Landsman.
Right. It's kind of the D becomes a
so we got Schuerman. We got Landsman. All right, I think I'm getting the hang.
I have 2 friends, Landsman.
Yeah, Ben. I don't know exactly.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben.
What you don't know what he's saying to though?
Oh, I do. Blueberry bagels.
All right. So while we're gonna have to table this whole blueberry thing that's been brought back to the ugly front. Yeah. So I'm going to turn things over to the venerable Paul Greenberg to introduce today's guest.
Listen, we already said it. It's Don Schuerman. I mean, the reason it is because this guy, look, I'll put it this way. When I was filling out the, I can stream to 2 of my channels thing that's StreamYard Loud, I literally identified him as improv comic, rock guitarist, and CTO of Pega Systems. I mean,
like the guy, part.
Right. Well, this guy is like so smart, so talented.
How smart and talented is he? Oh,
I was so smart. No, that I look, as a comic, he can come up with the answer to that one. I can't. Right. So here's the deal. This man is one of our favorite guests ever. and actually is the inspiration for BYOB 2020, Bring Your Own Band 2020, which Pega won because he one day pulled out a guitar and played it. Right when we were talking to him, we said, "Oh, there's a guitar. Will you play it?" And he did. Right?
About that.
He's a
you know what?
person. I mean, he's got it all. Look, I mean, look, it's very simple. But from now on, we're spelling his name Schuerman, right? And not Sherman, not SCHUER. We're spelling it SURE, MAN. So let's just bring
with
on
an exclamation point at the end.
Absolutely. So let's just bring on the absolute 100%, always a guest on this show whenever he wants. Don Schuerman.
Hey, oh, sorry guys. Can you guys hear me okay? Oh, there I am.
You are?
Yeah, there I am. I was frantically recording everything that you were saying, Paul, so that I can play it for my kids so that they understand that people do say nice things about me sometimes.
Yeah, well,
I really appreciate that.
It's all true.
No,
right? Every bit.
Now, before we get too far into this, there's something we have to bring up here. Let me see if I can do that. All right, so this is like the first promo shot I was thinking about adding, because it's so nice. I mean, it's like, you know, it's an action shot.
Yeah,
he kind of has his hands like this. Don't know exactly.
Make it a point. I'm clearly making a point. I got a clicker in my hand.
You got a nice little look,
one,
a nice smile on his face. But you know what? I went with this one.
Much better,
because this one is like, what the hell is he talking about?
I don't know. I look like I'm singing my "I Wish" song in a Broadway musical. You know, I'm gonna I'm dreaming about some far off future.
I thought you were like getting ready to say something deep and meaningful about the agentive AI or something.
It also looks like the shadows make you look like you're sweating bullets.
Yeah, really, I did. It was working hard. It is Vegas.
So
those bright lights, you know, it really did that. First of all, thanks for joining us, man. We were just saying it takes a special guest to follow up last week's What is CRM trilogy series, and you were just the person for it.
Oh, well, thank you. Honored to be a part of the conversations.
Always will be too. Yeah. So what you want to just start with the general question, Brent? Well, actually, no. I'll let Brent start, since, as I told you, I found out you were coming on the show by seeing Brent's preview.
Yeah,
right. I did not know.
That's around the same time I found out I was coming on the show.
Well, I know the, you know, when I first got the email from Elena back in October, I think, you know, about the subject was agentive AI, and at the time, you know, it was definitely a burgeoning kind of subject.
Oh yeah,
which now it has burgeoned. I don't even know.
Fully burgeoned. It is. Agents are burgeoning all over the place.
So, are you surprised at how quickly things are moving generally with AI and generative AI?
I'm not. I do think we probably missed it because it probably happened many years ago. But I think we've hit this point where technology is moving technology was already moving far faster than most businesses could keep up with. And now I think it's moving faster than even most human beings can keep up with. I mean, even us who study technology, I'm pretty constantly, some smart person on our AI team will drop the name of some model and I'm like, what's that? What does that do? And they're like, oh, you haven't been using this? It's the great, like, it's like, you know, so I think that the speed and pace of the technology just keeps accelerating. And, you know, every time I go and play with another large language model, I'm just amazed about how much better they keep getting in every iteration. So seeing now the idea of saying, well, what happens if we can put this together, put large language models together with some orchestration, with some automation, you can do some pretty amazing stuff.
Well, I mean, I guess it's two things. One is, the big one is, given that it's moving that fast, how do you actually manage it? I mean, do you ignore it? Do you try to contain it? Do you just sort of pick something and go with it? What do you do?
So the enterprises and the companies that I'm talking about they're doing a couple of things that I think are useful. One is they are thinking very much from a controls and a governance perspective. I mean, obviously we're dealing with data. We're also dealing with, even the smartest AI engines still make mistakes, right? They still give you wrong answers. They still screw things up. So you need to constantly be feeding back and reminding people the importance of human governance. We've been introducing, just internal to Pega, some pretty cool AI agents that we've built. And, a large portion of what we've had to do is spend a lot of time working with our internal teams as they start using them and playing with them and really setting the guidelines of what is a best practice. How do you use this effectively but safely? But I also think that organizations are starting to learn and realize, and I think we're seeing some of this. I think the first pass of Gen AI, like the first hype cycle through it, was kind of like the faster horses hype cycle. Like, the story from Henry Ford of if he had asked his customers what they wanted, they just would have said, well, just make me a faster horse, right? And I think we did a lot of like, we're going to just stick Gen AI into how we do coding. We're going to stick Gen AI into content generation. We're going to stick Gen AI into our WebEx meetings. And we'll do all the same things we've done before. We'll just do them faster. And I think in some cases that's great. I don't know if that, justifies a $30 to $40 per user per month uplift in the cost of some of our software, right? And I think that there's been a little bit of pushback from IT buying departments about some of that stuff. But where I think stuff gets really interesting is when some of this begins to profoundly change the way we operate our business and profoundly change the way we think about how we design customer processes, how we design customer journeys, how we think about the interaction and how we even think about the way the software itself, it needs to be built and designed to take advantage of some of these agent systems. And that's where I think some of the more profound things start changing.
So I want to kind of go, this is kind of perfect because last week, not only on one panel, but I think the two main CRM vendor panels.
Yep.
The whole idea of incrementalism versus kind of big time innovation.
Yeah.
There is just it wasn't. I don't know if it was a debate or it's just a kind of a point counterpoint.
Yeah.
Like there's this want to do these innovative things, and this technology has the capabilities of doing it, but there's also kind of the responsibility of larger enterprises to make sure that they're actually ready to do those from a cultural perspective and maybe some regulations and a structural. So one of the outputs was, yes, we want to be able to do things more, just not just the incremental, but the innovative, the open people's minds. And even though not only the way that they use their enterprise applications, but the way those enterprise applications are actually built going forward versus, well, that might be a little too much to bite off because people are, they're trying to move these big enterprises to do anything beyond incremental is tough.
Yes.
So how do you see it? How do we, because the capabilities are there. And I think in certain instances, the desire and the will and the want is there, but how do they get from the incremental kind of the way that they operate to being able to make these big dramatic things that could be game changers from a CRM, CX, whatever perspective? They don't know how to get there from where they are.
Yeah, well, and I think that the vast majority of even pretty substantive changes happen incrementally. They happen incrementally, but they happen fast, right? And or we take big steps, but we take them in small targeted areas. So we pilot something really kind of revolutionary, but we pilot it with a small blast radius so that we can learn and we can understand what's happening. And then we might expand that revolution out. Very, very seldom do I see, if I ever seen an enterprise just completely as a full organization. These things are, these are cargo ships and cruise liners. They're not designed to make sharp turns. It's just the size and scale of the organization. But I do think there's a degree to which leadership can help drive step changes, right? That there are points in the business where it might not be a leap from here to here, but you have to actually take a bit of a step approach. And often that comes by inserting some sort of either technology, sometimes it's a person, organizational change tends to drive that. Sometimes it's an external factor, right? Like COVID drove, we had been incrementing towards remote networking and remote working, and we all had like a copy of Blue Jeans that we turned on occasionally, and then literally,
no, we didn't.
some of us did, but like literally overnight, we went from that to being experts in Zoom and WebEx and Microsoft Teams and every sort of video conferencing thing, right? That's available. And what drove that was not necessarily anything but an external factor we had to respond to. So I think there are moments that drive these step changes.
No, go ahead, finish up.
Well, and what we're trying to do is provide the both the technology, but to Alan's point, a little bit of the experience, the people through us, through some of our partners, to help inject or plant seeds of what we might step changing kind of stuff. Like, so I'm sure of you can't talk to somebody from Pega for longer than probably 5 minutes without us mentioning Blueprint and some of the work that we've been doing there. And like what I like about that is it shows what a step change kind of change could be in a really contained way, but in a meaningful way for the enterprise. So I think you need to demonstrate some of those examples, and you need to quickly tie the technology change to the business impact.
So, by the way, before Paul, you jump in, Alan wanted to give Don credit for knowing about Broadway and I Wish song.
Yeah, no.
Just want to
at some point in a previous life, I spent time trying to improvise Broadway musicals, which meant that you had to really dissect not just what an I Wish song was, but the entire structure of how because it's kind of formulaic. It's like a big old math problem when you break them all down.
Wow, I'm going to bring you on to a different show though. We can talk about that specifically, right?
Sure. Sure.
So here's the thing. So if you go back years and years, if you remember, there was a whole thing in the early aughts of this century about the consumerization of business. You remember that?
Yeah.
And remember, led to the BlackBerry Pearl. It's like that. And, you realize people did care about how something looked, and it was even status level, but also was a way of them taking consumer side things and getting comfortable with the idea in business. And, it led, if you remember, in the phone side, because that's where mobile was really where it kicked in, was businesses would say, yeah, you can bring your personal phone in, but we'll isolate a section of your phone and all those things. Well, early on, you do these things. One of the things that occurred to me the other day was, look, I mean, if you look at, say, Copilot, it's embedded into Windows. And I use it all the time. I do. And it's got a lot of problems. But at the same time, effectively, it's making me comfortable using AI, right? And I'm wondering about that because, again, we're talking, and we have been talking about AI, especially in enterprise business ventures of some kind. But what about all those people? I mean, you did that with Blueprint.
Yeah, so we've done that. We've done that, for example, with Blueprint, right? Because Blueprint takes something that I think people intrinsically understand, right? So especially people who have worked in operations and servicing parts. How do I lay out a workflow? How do I understand a business process? But injects AI into it in a way that makes you think completely different about what that business process could mean. And so I'm taking something that you're kind of familiar with, but I'm flipping it into a completely different direction and in a way that gets you thinking differently. Like, so, we built, some of our engineers built this sort of internal agent that we've been using. And we call our intern. We call her our intern Iris. This is the name that he gave this agent.
Again,
but like one of the most brilliant things, there's a lot of great engineering and really cool Pega tech and some really cool large language models sitting behind this thing. But one of the most brilliant things that they did was they just the only way you can talk to the agent is with email. And everybody knows how to use email. We're comfortable with email. I'm comfortable writing somebody an email saying, hey, could you do these things for me? Right? We do that all the time as we delegate work or ask people in the organization for help. So all of a sudden, it became a really natural way to interface with which something that on the other side of it is pretty revolutionary and game-changing, but it makes it feel approachable and it flows naturally into some of our existing ways of working.
That to me is foundational requirement at this point. I mean, for AI to really be ultimately useful, millions and millions of billions of people really need to be able to feel comfortable enough to use it. Go ahead.
Yeah, and they also have to see the value in using it. Like, one of the things that I'm increasingly a little bit not concerned about, but I think we are going to eventually see is, these models are not cheap to run, whether you look at that from a cost perspective or whether, you want to look at that from a carbon perspective and an energy utilization perspective. But what that means is, I think eventually we are going to be confronted with the fact that we can't just be running large language models on everything.
Right.
We can't be summarizing every single conversation we have if it's not actually adding back value into what we do as a business. So I think the other thing is thinking, not only do you make it accessible, but do you ensure that when you actually use it and when we actually invest in putting the technology there, it's tied to some sort of value that actually helps the business progress, helps the business get a piece of work done, helps the business better serve a customer. I think it's really essential that we think pretty deeply about the value connectivity in these use cases.
Well, that's actually a big point, because there's a real danger in the idea of making something that's expensive to run easy to access.
Yeah.
Right. And that kind of addresses that.
Yes, it does.
Keep going, because I'm going to incorporate some of the things that Elena sent me into this conversation.
Okay. So, to all of this. So one thing I would like people to know a little more about, because I thought Blueprint was probably one of the products of the year in general in the world that we inhabit. I don't know what else to call it. I hate calling it the business tech world just because I don't like business. But in that world, I think it was one of the products of the year. And I know Brent actually experienced it. I didn't, but I did. Well, I kind of did, but online a little bit. But it's an astounding product. You kind of, given everything you've just said, can you kind of situate Blueprint in there and give people a sense of what it's about?
Yeah, I mean, I can situate it. If you give me 2 seconds, I actually think the most meaningful thing that I could probably do, Paul, is actually demo it to you.
Oh,
that would be awesome.
So let me just log in.
Hey, Brent,
you want to share your screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me get. Hold on. It's going to take me a second to just, because when I log into anything, I have to go through multiple factor authentication.
You don't have that kind of time.
No, I have that kind of time. I just want to make sure that I'm doing it securely.
I'm kidding.
So give me 1 sec, but I'll pull this up and then I'll go ahead and share it for you.
Okay.
No, absolutely.
But what we wanted to hit with Blueprint was, we're in the workflow automation and decisioning business, right? So we wanted to be able to get people to think about, how do we, and let's see if I can pull this up real quick. Share screen. All right. Look, I actually have, oh my gosh, this may not happen because I may have to allow my system settings to let you share, and then I have to restart everything. So if this doesn't happen, which we'll try, but if it doesn't happen, I will Google Chrome can share. Okay. I will send everybody to Blueprint, pega.com/blueprint. So you can check this out wherever you would like to go. And all right. Okay. Anyway, it's not letting me share this on here, but we will. You can go to pega.com/blueprint and you can try it out. And what Blueprint lets you do is, by putting in just a little bit of text, you can have it lay out for you what an ideal business process would look like. And it does that by looking at best practices from your company. It looks at best practices that we've learned. It looks at best practices that are just buried in the language models. And based on your simple input, so you could say, I want to build a customer servicing app for retail banking, for consumer lending in the United Kingdom. And it will, one, understand that it needs to use terms that are United Kingdom-ish, right? So it needs to talk about leasing flats as opposed to renting apartments, right? But it will actually go through go through, and then based on those best practices, it will say, well, that's customer service app. It needs to have apply for a loan. It needs to have change your payment date. It needs to have, pay off a loan. It needs to have all these different types of service activities that are available. And it will actually suggest, here's what the business process would look like for those. And here's what the underlying data structure and data model would need to look like for any of that to work. And then it can allow you, because it's built around the work, it's built around what you're trying to accomplish, it can let you also preview, like, here's what a user screen would look like in a CRM application or a servicing application or a self-service mobile app. We're actually going to add a chatbot to it, so you can show what it would look like to chat with this new workflow or new servicing process you put in place. So it's a really powerful way to go and think about, if you think about process reengineering or transformation or all these things that we used to think about as being heavy and hard to do. Well, now all of a sudden I can rethink a business process in a matter of minutes.
You want to try something? I mean, I might be able to bring it. I got my access code. I've done all that. You could.
All right. Yeah. If you got your access code and you got Blueprint up, Paul, I would love for you.
Let's see if we can do it. Okay.
Oh my gosh. This would be exciting.
This is why we bring you on, man. We're pushing the envelope.
Live on the edge.
There we go. I think it says it's. Hold on. Man, wait a minute. Oh, wait. No.
Yeah, we got that.
I'm not sure. Wasn't that weird? Doesn't seem to. I picked the right thing to share, but it's not sharing it. I'm being stopped too for some. Wait. Hold on. That's bizarre. No, it literally says it's sharing the page, but it's not showing up.
Doesn't want to share the page.
No, it's kind of weird. Hold on, let me try one last thing here. All right. No, it won't. It won't let me do it. Damn.
Well,
I'll have to stop the screen. All right. Won't do it.
All right.
We gave it a shot.
That's all right. Well, look, the great thing is anybody listening could literally just go to pega.com/blueprint and experience this, try this out for themselves. And we've been adding lots to Blueprint as we go along. I mean, one of the things that we're really kind of excited about is Blueprint being able to help clients think about some of their legacy processes and legacy applications and legacy software that they have. I know a lot of people are, as they're thinking about using AI, one of the big challenges is it's really hard to use AI with a whole bunch of old mainframe and Lotus Notes and Power Builder stuff that, if you walk into a lot of contact centers, people are still struggling with. So we've also built tools into Blueprint that allow us to import some of those old process definitions, some of those old documentations, and even, some of the things like data models. So Ben, I encourage you to give it a try. There's a whole section. We've been playing with Blueprint. There's a whole area of Blueprint called Just for Fun. And you can literally ask Blueprint to set up a Girl Scout cookie sale. And it will figure out the right processes and workflows and data models and people involved in the Girl Scout cookie sales process. It's pretty, I'm yet to stump it. We could play Stump the Blueprinter at some point, but I'm yet to stump it as we've gone through it.
You know what occurred to me? I don't know if we can do this, but since you are a sponsor of IRL 2025.
I bet he didn't even know that.
Yeah, you are. You don't know that, but you are. You guys took care of it. Well, that's the way it works, Brent. You're the only one who knows everything. Yeah. Don didn't know he was on. I didn't know you were on. You don't know you're a sponsor. But one thing we could do, we're going to be using Zoom events and Zoom Studio. We could probably create a Zoom room where we could put up Blueprint.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then have people come in and do stuff on Blueprint.
That'd be awesome. We'd love to do that. We have plenty of people, not just the technology, but plenty of people who'd be happy to help take folks through it. Show it off a little bit.
Hey Don.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, just watch the sponsors. Keep your eye on the sponsors.
Just to let you know.
There it is. There we are.
There it is. We like to surprise our guests. So let's go back to the main view here.
Yay!
What?
There you go.
All right. So, I have something while you guys are doing that. So, I went into Elena's email.
Yeah.
And I quickly did a little bit of finagling here. And I have come up with a couple of the predictions that she thought would be an interesting talking point.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so this is going to be the first one. 2025 predictions. And look how that fits so perfectly into this.
Yeah, when he's using a 1987
here's a prediction.
when he's using a 1987 clicker.
Yeah.
Agentic AI. Autonomous AI solutions will evolve into dynamic assistants capable of executing complex tasks and optimizing customer interaction. That's going to happen next year?
I think from a technology perspective, it may have already happened.
That's what
I think what we'll see in 2025 is the beginning of the adoption of some of it.
Okay.
I think the other thing that people are gonna start realizing about some of this stuff is a lot of what those complex tasks are workflows and business processes. And so you need to actually be able to have agents that can follow and execute business processes and workflows effectively.
Okay. I think I have one more.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can bring that up real quick. I have to make it.
Boston Celtics will repeat as 2025 NBA champions.
Yeah,
No,
that's definitely not on that.
No, that's not one of the predictions.
That was
No,
not.
you didn't even make it through the NBA Cup.
The NBA Cup is cute. It's really cute. But we save our energy. We save our energy for the actual championship.
It was ridiculous you weren't in it. I mean, it was kind of ridiculous. You lost one day.
Well, I mean, the Knicks, didn't they lose last night to the Hawks?
Yeah, to the Hawks. Well, again,
I mean,
all right.
I mean,
the Hawks have been surprising. They've been really
digging
into the Cup this year.
They are. All right, guys. Let's go back to 2025. Let's go back to 2020. Okay.
Wow.
Like,
inventing a new category of time.
Right.
Go back to 2025.
Is that the same one?
No, it's a different one.
Okay. Generative AI models. Future models will compete on cost efficiency, response speed, open source availability, and enhanced capabilities. Organizations will need to balance these features with practical considerations like interoperability and regulatory compliance.
Oh, that makes a whole heck of a lot of sense. I think yeah, I mean, I think that the other thing I think is going to really be interesting is I think enterprises and many of the smart leaders I talk to are already developing what I would call like a multi-model strategy, because I think that it feels like a lot of these models are playing a constant game of leapfrog, right? For a while, it seems like OpenAI's got the best model, and then Google releases some enhancements to Gemini, and it's all of a sudden better at certain things, and then you hear about Claude from Anthropic, and it's now got better capabilities in certain areas. So I think there's the big thing that you're going to see, at least at the enterprise level, where I spend a lot of my time, is how do you design your architecture so that you're able to swap in the best and the most cost-effective model for the specific use case you're trying to drive, because you certainly don't want to overpay for a model that you don't need for the use case. But there will be certain use cases in the business where you're actually willing to have a more expensive or maybe even sometimes a slower model because the result is better. And I think that kind of multi-model architecture is going to be really important to how enterprises think about their longer term strategy.
Okay. One last one, and I guess we're going to have to hit the road here.
Yeah.
The third of the predictions that we have for Mr. Don Schuerman.
Yeah.
AI proficiency for all employees. AI literacy will become essential across all functions. Companies will need to upskill employees continuously, focusing on AI literacy, critical thinking, bias awareness, adaptability, and change management.
So yeah, I mean, it's what the truism we've heard that like you don't need to worry about your job being replaced by AI, but you maybe should be concerned about your job being replaced by somebody using AI. I think I think that there is a point at which using and being able to operate with these AI models will be the equivalent of being able to write a formula in Excel. It's just going to be an expected business skill and an expected level of comfort that you have. If I'm hiring somebody brand new out of college, I at very least am operating with the assumption that I can give them some data to put it into an Excel spreadsheet and they can manage it. And I think being able to operate proficiently with a prompt-based AI model is a huge importance of it. At the same time, one of the things that we're discovering that I think is really interesting is prompt engineering at a deeper level is an art form, and that there are lots of use cases we're finding where the best possible solution for the business is actually not to let everybody prompt at will, but to actually engineer pre-built prompts into the application themselves so that you're actually driving a very specific result and a specific outcome and best practice for the business. So while I certainly think everybody's going to need to be proficient with these tools, I also think a lot of times the business is increasingly going to stick a layer between the tool itself and how users use it.
Awesome. All right. I fooled you. There's one last one. This is going to be a real quick one. This is probably going to be the biggest one of all. So
All right.
Let me pull that one up.
Yeah.
The Boston Celtics.
Oh,
repeat it.
Oh, you snuck that in. Oh,
no, Elena sent that in. Blame Elena.
I know Elena. Elena's a Celtics fan. She would not have snuck that in.
Well, I actually, that's the one prediction I totally agree with.
Wishing don't make it so, Paul.
And, I'm a Knicks fan, so we'll see.
Yeah. All right, so
Don, somebody has a shot.
We kept you a little overtime there, but we definitely appreciate it as always. And lots of really people love your predictions. By the way, we're getting Look, he's. Wait a minute. I also have my daughter take a look.
Yeah, remember the cookie?
Right. Yeah.
Cookie sale workflow. That's 3 words I never thought I'd hear. Get a cookie sale workflow.
Yeah. Oh, everything's a workflow, Paul.
Yeah, it doesn't sound right though.
Well,
wishing it doesn't make it so.
So first of all, thanks for being a sponsor there, Don.
Well, thank you. By
the way, thanks for coming on the show.
I'm honored to have put so much thought into it. So
thanks for coming on the show.
It's great to see you both. I now that I know about the IRL 2025, I'm gonna have to make sure that my schedule is free for me to be there. Hopefully, IRL.
Yeah, man.
You do actually by being a sponsor, you actually get some
benefits.
Seats. Yeah, you get some seats at the thing. So
that's only if you know you're a sponsor, though.
I'll be there. I heard donuts and bourbon. So
yeah, you got it.
There.
You got it. Heavy duty
donuts, bourbon, and real bagels.
No,
man.
Here's the other side. No, here's the other side. Atlanta, real bagels. That does not.
That's probably
Atlanta biscuits. Yeah, that's like saying New York real biscuits.
And we'll have some biscuits.
Yeah,
right.
When in Rome, buy the right food.
The only way we'll have real bagels in Atlanta is I ship Essa bagels to the event. Right. So that's it. And maybe I will.
Maybe you should. Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking.
All right.
Yeah, Alan's going to be there. Alan is going to be there.
We'll do that, Alan. I'd be glad.
All
right, well, thanks, gentlemen.
All right.
Thank you, man. We always appreciate it. Have a great holiday season, and hopefully we'll see you next month.
Yeah, have a great one. We'll talk to you all soon.
Don Schuerman.
Bye.
All right, let's let him go. There he is. All right. That was fun. Hopefully we'll get that. Luckily, we have Zoom as a sponsor. Maybe we'll be able to do that.
Yeah, it just occurred to me while I was sitting here that we might be able to do that kind of thing for the sponsors, and having Blueprint is like, the ability to have it in one of the rooms would be amazing. It really is. To their credit, it is easily one of the most innovative products of the whole year, and to me, one of the best products. Period. The idea alone was brilliant, and the execution of what they've done is amazing. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned, it was cool to do it. I mean, now that was in like a tech innovation hub thing they had set up, and all sorts of really cool stuff. But it was fun. I mean, doing all that kind of stuff, and it's always fun hanging out with the folks at Pega. Yeah,
they are great people.
All right. So, I have to get ready because I got to hunker down tonight. It's I go into the no comment zone.
So who did the Rams play tonight?
The Niners.
Oh, well, that's like grudge match game.
No, we hate each other.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Grudge match game.
Yeah, you know.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, Sandy Lowe, but I will be rooting for the Rams.
I'm not Sandy. Sorry, Sandy Lowe. I
am.
will also be rooting for the Rams, and
Yeah,
so
I
will
can
Sven
though,
too.
Giants.
Sven,
Yeah,
Sven is rooting for the Rams as well.
I know.
All
right,
right.
Sven, you're back in our good graces.
Okay, so
My good graces. You
I guess
never
next week is the last show for the year because that's the last one before
Yeah,
Christmas, isn't
and
it?
it's on my birthday. Holy crap!
Whoa, and it's a big birthday.
Yeah.
It's one of those significant milestone.
Yeah, one of those ones that tells you your time is short, man. That's not a great birthday.
It's gonna be a fun. Yeah, so we're gonna have the birthday episode of CRM Playaz, and that also means
you know what I want for a present?
you know.
Yeah, you know what I want for a present?
There'll be a special birthday edition.
No, what I want for a present is guess what I want? For something not to be on the show.
It's going to be a special birthday edition.
Something not to be on the show. Or the question on it being Paul Greenberg just passed how many years?
Or
I know I'll get that right.
The question will not be how old are you? We won't do that. But oh wow,
Sven,
come on, Sven. Sven has been messing with you the whole
really
show.
Having a hard time with me today, man. It's 5 years less. If you guessed 70, I could have said, "Oh, well, that's nice. You think I'm younger," but you literally went 5 years over. Probably the first person who said, "Oh, you look older than you really are."
So let's make before we leave. If you want to learn about the event, the IRL is very easy. The IRL, the URL is very easy to remember. It is IRL2025.com.
And it's up now, so you can go look at it.
Yep. And it'll be updated.
There's a form on that site, which you saw earlier, where you can, if you can't attend, then you can register to watch it virtually. Please do so. And you'll get the link the day of, or the day, I don't know, shortly before. And if you'd like to attend, and remember what I said, Sam, but anyone here who'd like to attend, although I think everybody I saw today is attending except Krish is the only other one who isn't, or doesn't know about it. Paul-Greenberg 3 at the 56 group said, I'd like to attend in person, and we'll get you an invite.
All righty. In the meantime, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM Playaz, and we can never just leave you guys until I spend enough time trying to find Minnie's picture.
There she is, the dog of the year, tied with Patrick.
And I'm going to see Minnie, I believe, next Tuesday doing the Salesforce analyst event thing. Hopefully be in the usual position. Anyway, have a great weekend. We will see you next week.